Hey, before this video gets started, I'd like to ask you to do me a favor. If you find yourself watching this video, and obviously you have because you can hear this, if you decide for whatever reason to nope out of this video before it finishes, and I mean like well before it finishes, like before the halfway mark or at any point, like you decide like to leave before it's done, do me this favor and leave a comment down below explaining exactly why you're leaving. If it's my voice, if it's the audio, like the audio quality, if it's the co-host voice, if the video is just boring, doesn't matter what it is. Like even if it's like, well, I suddenly had to poop and I had to leave. Like doesn't matter what it is, just tell me what it is down below because I'm trying to boost audience retention. And I feel the only way to really do that is by having the audience tell me what's making them lose retention. So enjoy the show. Okay, so I'll probably be able to finish this episode and then not, because my brother's ability to tell time is not his ability to tell time, but like showing up when he say he gonna show up is one thing. And I was like, I really hope y'all know, like I got somewhere to be tomorrow. Like by the time y'all get here, the day is over for me. But like I'm not gonna sit here and say like I wouldn't like it, but I do think that like it would be tasteless for another, like I think it would be tasteless at this point, because like I think we've reached a point in wrestling where seeing people actually perform is way more interesting. Like seeing actual like acrobatic performers and like strong dudes do strong stuff. And I'm a firm, I like when female wrestlers are people like Natty and Nia Jax and Jade Cargill. I like women who can fight because I'm there for the violence. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to front you. I'm there for the violence. I am there for like the kendo sticks. I'm there for the tables. I'm trash. I am a trash human being. Like I like the nonsense. I like the trash talking. I like the promos. I like when it gets real. I like when for whatever reason two wrestlers are on the microphone looking each other in the face and they start saying real stuff. I like that part of wrestling. Like I really do. And like I see what you're saying where like they could choose to sell that version of WWE again. They could, but they wouldn't make nearly as much. I won't say they wouldn't make as much money. I'm not going to say that because I firmly believe with the right talent and the willingness to be more inclusive, like don't just make it about the girls, just, you know, give everybody a little something, you know what I mean? And I definitely feel like, no, it would thrive. It would thrive, but people would have, like, they would have their detractors. Because like I said earlier, the amount of like people who are just disrespectful to like the talent when it comes to like social media, it's not gonna change. Like they probably do their thing, not really be good at wrestling, but they're there for a specific reason. Like yeah, people gonna find them on social media and then just bully them, like because
yes, there's a bit of a problem for us.
I can't stress enough. If you're watching this, don't ever do that. And if you do, it's on you. It's not on your parents. It's on you. Like if you're old, like if you're over the age of 12, like you know better. You know bullying isn't fun. You know it might be fun, but it ain't cool. Like and like these grown adults who seek out these professional athletes and go out of their way to be mean to them. Like old boy on Twitter who was basically saying that Nia Jax was the worst part of Raw. You could have said nothing. And like gotten the exact same, like, and been better off. Like genuinely, but again, I suppose people like that want attention. But mind you, one of the people who's running WWE now, Paul Levesque, says he regrets a lot of the stuff that they did, and he doesn't feel that it would fly. So whether or not he believes that, he's clearly of a mindset that we're not doing that under my watch.
Is disappointment.
With all that said, I found out that at some point the UFC was for sale. The UFC was for sale. And Shane told Vince, hey, we should buy the UFC. And Vince was like, nah, I'm good. And Shane, he was like, why not? And he's like, because I don't like the direction they're going. I don't like what they're doing. And basically, like, it turned into him and, like, this is Paul Heyman told in this story, that, like, Shane and Vince ended up having a conversation. And while they were having, I think they were having a conversation about the direction WWF was going. And Vince was having a meal. And he had a knife on the table. And Vince said, not while I'm alive. So, like, the plan that that Shane had. And then he took the knife and he gave it to Shane. And he's like, if you want to do your idea, take this, stick it right here.
Easy,
I could use
he's like,
bodyguards.
that'll let me know how serious you are about
Why
this.
aren't you saying anything?
It's like, if this is what you want,
Holding your breath?
then take it. And he was saying that, like, because, like, this is what it'll take. And he was saying that, like, this is, like, if you want the company, you're gonna have to force me out. Like, and like, he's like, that's exactly what I would have done to my father. So, like, that was apparently the reason Shane left the first time Shane left. Man, I'm having a hard time. Stop. That was the first time Shane left.
Easy mode.
Like, he didn't want to be at odds with his dad. He didn't want to be at odds with Vince. He didn't want to fight Vince. He wanted Vince to like his ideas and trust him. And Vince was just like,
high score.
I don't know. This is my company. I'm gonna do my thing. If you want to be a part of this, like, you want to be a part of this, it's my way or the highway type stuff.
We can't kick people out of their homes.
It's all been very, very strange, because I can't stress you enough, like, Vince does not care about any of the things he's done. Like, I think the only thing he kind of regretted Owen Hart's death. Kind of. But he looked at it like, it wasn't our fault. That was his response to it. It wasn't their fault. And he says it wasn't their fault because they found out that the gear Owen was using for the ring entrance was faulty. And what's his name? Bret Hart. He said for years, he genuinely thought Vince killed Owen just to get back at him.
Look, a TCRI band.
Bands plural.
And when I tell you, for a man to say that, for a man to say, I think he killed my brother in front of tens of thousands of people just to get back at me, that guy he's talking about may very well be a monster. And, like, that's my take on Vince McMahon. The people who like, respect, and love Vince McMahon are like, nah, he's kind of a psycho. At that point, it don't matter what you say.
No! He promised no cages.
Like,
It wasn't meant to be like this.
Hulk is like, nah. Like, the
Tammy,
McMahon
we
character
gotta get out
is
of here
just
before they
Vince.
round us up.
We've actually
It's
been
like,
captured by
even
TCRI
Taker was
before,
like,
and I'm
there
so
ain't much
sore.
of a difference between Vince and
So you know what
Mr.
it's
McMahon.
like, yet you still defend
But
humans?
Vince is like, no, like, I'm
We can
nothing like
debate
that
on the way
character.
home.
And I was like, bro, like,
Come on,
given the
let's
stuff
get
I
you
saw
somewhere
you
safe.
get into when you started being in the forefront of wrestling, I really hope you ain't nothing like your character.
Tammy, wait!
Time for us to disappear. Let's go!
That wasn't
But
that hard.
again, I would have said the same thing. I mean, if I'm being real with you, I would have said the same thing. I would have totally been like, no, I ain't nothing like my persona online. It's kind of like how I felt about like Low Tier God. I always felt like there's no way this is who he is as a person. I was like, there's no way. There's no way that he's actually this, like, stupid in real life. Like, he has to be putting on a character for the sake of, like, the internet, like, to get heat. Because people love to hate somebody. Like the amount of people who probably watch him just to hate watch is probably higher than you'd like for it to be. But yeah, this is it's not. I won't say it's worth watching. I wouldn't say, oh, if you're a wrestling fan, you'll like it. Nah, I will say that like it has shed some light on some things that we didn't know about.
It's been a
That I didn't know
wild
about at the very
24
least.
hours, folks. After
But,
feral
like,
newbies descended upon
I
Lower
wouldn't watch
Manhattan,
this expecting
TCRI agents
to get
crashed the
truth.
party, forcing
You know what
him
I mean?
to wear some kind of headset thingamajig. TCRI is
Because
calling
even
these
Taker is
corrective
like,
augmented
I'm still
reality
relatively like
headsets.
in
They
kayfabe.
apparently
Like-
use sensory therapy
Like,
to
what was it? Like
relieve
Steph,
the
they was
pressure
asking
of
Stephanie,
mutants' animal
was there anything
instincts,
that your
making
dad
them
ever
way
wanted to
more
do
cooperative.
that you were just
Whatever.
like, no, I'm not
Okay,
gonna do that?
this
And
is
she said there
straight
was
up
like one or
evil.
two things.
Speaking of evil,
And
the
she was
city
like, but I'm
just
not gonna tell you.
announced a security
Huh?
contract with TCRI to
It was
handle
him.
the mutant problem. Guys,
It was Vince.
this is way
She
too
was
much
supposed-
dystopia for one afternoon.
yeah.
But keep it low
And she was
here,
like,
as
I think
stay
like she
focused
acknowledged like,
on
yeah, that was the one thing I just
TCRI
refused to do.
accountable.
But she wouldn't say what the other thing was. And even Vince was like, no, I think it would have been funny. And I was like, well, what's the connection there, man? Like who, just how are we supposed to look at that and be like, ah, that's crazy? No, man, that's weird, dude. At least to me, it's like so beyond bizarre. It's like this, yeah, this guy's wild. Ugh. But the weird part was, by this time there was no competition because they had already bought out WCW. And it's like, and I personally, I think that that's what made WWF at that time as good as it was.
Really cool Evolution to stay
Is
open late.
Yeah, we just needed a minute to like
because
process.
WCW was a more
I
like
think
mature
you're the
show,
ones doing him a
and it
favor.
wasn't silly. It wasn't like
People see
goofy.
you turtles in
And
the
so
window.
when WWE
they
started
know it's
copying
safe to
that,
come in.
that was when
So martial arts
they
back
started
for
doing
business,
better
huh?
in the ratings again.
Actually,
And then like
TCRI agents have been
WCW just
coming
couldn't
here
keep
to
up
get their caffeine.
because like even Eric Bischoff acknowledged like,
And one
yeah,
of them
like Vince
spilled
saw
the
what we
tea.
were doing and was like, I'm gonna do that,
Oh, she
but
doesn't
he
have
did it
time
better.
to be mopping up Earl Grey.
No, not actual tea, Raph. Hot goss is TCRI captured an entire encampment of newbies. Put helmets on every one of them. Now, they're going to mind control those newbies into bringing others into the fold.
Sounds like IRL zombie tag.
So, what do you
Say
think of the new
liberated
Switch?
this camp of newbies. That would pump the brakes on TCRI's zombie apocalypse, right?
Anything we can
Yeah,
do
it's a
to
little
grind
bit
their
bigger.
gears is a positive at this point.
It's a little bit bigger.
It's set.
I'm curious about
Next objective is that camp.
the Joy-Con connections. Like I'm assuming that there's gonna be magnets inside that help hold the Switch Joy-Cons in place because they don't lock because there's just a connection. Like it's not gonna be a wireless connection anymore. So I'm just very curious as to like how sturdy will that pin be, and like are y'all like how's that gonna work out? I do like that it's bigger. I do like that it has a much better kickstand. I am curious if it's gonna be backwards compatible. Because mind you, they didn't tell us anything. I'm curious if it's gonna be backwards compatible. Because like having to like, because I think for the Switch, that was like the hardest thing about getting it when I first got it, was I had nothing to play on it. Like just getting the Yeah, that's in, and I think like, again, for people like us, that makes sense. For a lot of people though, the reason to get it is because other people want it. Like it's like getting the Cybertruck. Like what reason do you have for getting such an ugly truck other than everyone was talking about it and like, well, I'll turn heads when I pull up in it. it's an ugly vehicle. It's like, yeah, I will say that though. And I can't stress enough that, like, yo, it's an ugly truck. Like, it's an ugly truck. And it's like, well, how is it ugly then? I was like, it's ugly because, well, one, it's ugly because it's ugly. Like, but it's also like it's not well built. So there's not anything for me to do, theoretically speaking. Like, this entire episode was mostly that janky boss fight and a bunch of cutscenes. Because I'm already at 14 minutes. I don't know how I ate up 14 minutes. I didn't do anything. But it's, well, I mean, yeah, but still, like, the game went. It's like, the game went. And I was like, I don't know what happened. So I'm gonna try to upgrade some stuff before I end the episode, I guess, to like put some kind of substance in. And then I guess I'll be done for the night. Because I haven't had to update or upload in a couple days. Like, actually in a while. Which is kind of great. Oh, man, so my cousin, so I found out like what I'm going to have to do to get those, getting the titles for those cars is about to be way more complicated than need be. Well, it was about to be. It's difficult in the sense of, like, if it was in town, I wouldn't have a problem. I could probably get a ride up to the DMV and be done. But, like, so I called the DMV here in town. And they were like, well, if the vehicles are in another state and you plan on selling them, you don't need to talk to us. Like, just call the DMV in that city and they'll tell you what you need to get replacement titles. And it's like, but it's important to let them know exactly what it is, like, that you need. And so I finally call up there and they're like, well, we're going to need a copy of the death certificate. And, like, we're going to, and it was like, and I was like, and it was like, but you're going to need to, like, come here and, like do some other stuff. And it was like, cause like, if there is, Mikey can use his own assistability and, like, ain't no way, it might be 750, hold on. Nope, 250. Leo can use his own assistability there. No. So yeah, that's it, yo. That's everybody's upgraded as far as I'm aware. I think, like, it'll say like a final upgrade. Oh my gosh, it's so slow. Final upgrade and final upgrade. Yeah, all the turtles are fully maxed out. And again, like, the that junkyard thing with Leatherhead does not go toward completion of the game. There is no, like, achievement for doing it, and because it's so hard, I'm not doing it. Like, just honestly, I don't want to do it. It's so hard. Like, I'd love to finish off like Lovebug or whatever her name is, but it's not gonna happen. I don't think there's really much left for me to do. We're at 80 some odd percent, probably 90 by now. I think I was at 86 at the start before that mission, so we're close to the end. Like, this is good. This series is probably going to be over 60 episodes. I genuinely thought it'd be closer to 25 or 30. Like, I was like, yeah, this game is cheap and it's definitely going to be short. It is not short. They put a lot of effort into the story and not enough into the gameplay, the stability, or the voice acting. This game needs work. Like, at this point, I don't think you could update it to make it a better game. You'd have to start from scratch. And with that being said, another console TMNT game later this year. Y'all ain't got the last three right. Last three. Well, Shredder's Revenge was okay. But, like, the ones before that, like, y'all just can't nail a turtle game. This wasn't a bad, this works. But the team that put it together, this ain't what y'all do. We need we need somebody who understands how to like code a game, like with these low resolution backgrounds and whatnot. This game is woof, woof. All right, get out.